Final Destination 6, Bloodlines has finally been released, and the movie is packed with connections to the other films in the saga. Plus, they finally revealed several secrets that have been kept hidden for years. We're going to cover all of that right here. Today on Auraverse, I'll be showing you all the references and hidden secrets in Final Destination 6. Ready? Let's get to it. In Iris's notebook, we can see several premonitions. One of them shows a person being killed by a falling brick hitting their head. This seems to be a reference to Alex, the protagonist of the first movie. He managed to survive death in his film, but in Final Destination 2, it was revealed that he died when a brick fell on his head. The movie finally revealed the identity of the mortuary man. His name is John William Bloodworth, and he was saved by Iris 50 years ago. This explains his connection to the previous films. In this story, John reveals that he worked with Iris for years to learn how to defeat death. That's why he started working at a funeral home, and why we saw him helping the protagonists in the previous films. Iris and John wanted to learn everything about death to beat it, and they did so through the other characters in the saga. John Bloodworth mentions a girl who managed to cheat death. This was Kimberly Corman, the protagonist of Final Destination 2. Until now, in the entire saga, she is the only one who has successfully broken death's design. Many people doubted whether she actually survived all these years, but thanks to John's words, it's confirmed that she did. The movie introduces Iris as a character who has managed to evade death for decades. To achieve this, she locked herself in a perfectly protected and prepared cabin. This is the same technique used by Alex, the protagonist of the first movie. He isolated himself in a cabin that he specifically set up to avoid any deadly risks. When the protagonists arrive at the hospital, they get nervous upon seeing a revolving door. Stephanie is afraid that someone will die in it, but in the end, nothing happens, and the door never reappears. The thing is, there was originally a scene where Stephanie's mom got trapped in the door. We actually saw this scene in the trailers, but it was cut from the final version. It's likely that Darlin didn't die in that door, but was saved by Stephanie. However, the production decided it was better to remove the scene. In this movie, death is shown to be more strategic than usual. For example, in the ending, the protagonists plan to hide in Iris's cabin to stay safe, but Death figures this out and blows up the cabin before they can get inside. Normally, it would have been more predictable to blow up the cabin with them inside, but Death knew that the cabin was perfectly designed by Iris to withstand anything, so it couldn't allow them to enter. It was a flawless plan. Eric is a pretty interesting character. He dies in the hospital after being sucked into an MRI machine. This is strange because the movie revealed that he wasn't part of Iris's bloodline. He was the result of his mother's affair. So, why did he die? Well, it makes sense. If we recall John Bloodworth's words, he said that if they mess with death, the consequences could be disastrous. Eric challenged death by trying to save his brother, so he had to die. Continuing with Eric, his death was particularly symbolic. The machine destroyed him, specifically starting from his groin area. This wasn't accidental. In the garbage truck scene, Eric mocked Death by pretending to have sex with the truck. He taunted Death, and Death punished him accordingly. When Iris dies, she is impaled by a steel bar through her head. This is identical to how she died in the original premonition. She was killed by a steel bar that went through her mouth. Death ended things exactly as it originally intended. Before saying goodbye, John tells us the line, "Life is precious. Enjoy every valuable second." The line is quite powerful considering that actor Tony Todd passed away after filming this movie. The actor was very ill, and everyone knew he didn't have much time left. According to the film's production team, that line was completely created by Tony Todd himself. They told him to put the script aside and speak from the heart. They asked him to tell the audience what life and death meant to him, and that's exactly what he did. In Iris's notebook, we see several references to important movies in the franchise. For example, we see a burning plane, which corresponds to Flight 180, the accident from the first film. Somehow, Iris had visions of that accident. In another part of the notebook, we see notes about a crash involving a truck loaded with logs. This is clearly referring to the event from Final Destination 2, where that logging truck caused the catastrophe. Stephanie's car has a license plate that says RFK 575. This is a reference to Carter, a character from the first movie. He drove a car with the exact same plate. You can see it now on the screen. When Stephanie visits Iris, the old woman orders her to empty her pockets. This is because Death could use anything to attack, even simple objects like keys or pens. We first saw this prevention method in Final Destination 2. Here we saw Claire, a character who survived the first movie. She was living locked up in a psychiatric hospital, and when she met the protagonists, she demanded they empty their pockets. In Iris's notebook, we see a grill catching fire. This is a reference to the ending of Final Destination 2. That movie ended with Kimberly enjoying a barbecue with her family, but it was revealed that a family member had recently escaped death. The scene ends with the grill exploding next to the young boy. It's a very memorable scene in the franchise. In the notebook, there are also notes about a man falling into a wood chipper. This accident hasn't appeared in any of the films, but it does correspond to a deleted scene. Final Destination 3 originally included a scene showing Kimberly and Thomas dying years after their movie. Supposedly, they ended up getting caught in a wood chipper. Of course, this scene was removed, so it's not considered canon. This makes me think that Iris had a vision of this event, but it ultimately never happened. Eric escaped death several times. Here, for instance, he was almost run over by a truck. This is a reference to Terry, a character from the first movie. She was run over by a bus in a nearly identical scene. Eric almost suffered the same fate, but Death wasn't ready to take him. In Iris's premonition, the entire catastrophe was caused by a coin tossed by a child. Iris kept this coin in her notebook. Halfway through the movie, we see how the coin falls and ends up with an old woman. Later, the same coin slips away from the old woman and ends up causing the train accident we see in the finale. Basically, this coin started the cycle 50 years ago and ended it in the finale. This isn't the first time a coin has caused extraordinary chaos. In Final Destination 4, a coin caused the most epic death in the movie. A character lost a coin in a pool, and while trying to retrieve it, he got trapped at the bottom. The pool's drains sucked his body down and tore him apart because of that coin, though he eventually managed to reunite with it. At several moments, Death gave hints about how it would finish its work. For example, in the finale, Stephanie and Charlie are crushed by a logging truck, but in previous scenes, they almost crashed into a similar truck. Their fate was sealed. But that's all for today. If you liked the video, it would be awesome if you could give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe because I'll be posting more videos about your favorite series and movies. Thanks for listening. My name is Aura, and I'll see you in the next.